Aries, this is your week ahead astrology forecast. Aries, I am going to talk to you based on where your sun sign is. If you know astrology well enough and you want to replace that for your ascendant, know that the way that I describe these aspects and energies that are generated from these angles in the sky, it's not gonna, the sun doesn't affect a Saturn the same way that the ascendant would, right? So just you would have to know. The angles will be the same, sure. If you have your ascendant at 2 degrees Aries, then it's going to form a certain angle with what I'm saying, but I'm speaking from the perspective of the sun now, just so FYI. Aries, I'm going to discuss all the major planetary aspects and transits that are happening to you over this next week. This is from March 8th through the 15th. And I'm going to discuss all the major planetary aspects and transits based on your sun sign, the decant in which your sun sign is in. So we all know that you're Aries, right? You were born sometime in Aries season, but those of you that have a natal sun between 0 and 10 degrees Aries have very different aspects to the same planets that somebody born between 20 and 30 degrees would have. It could differ between a sextile and a square, which is a very different relationship and a very different energy to deal with. So for those of you who are born or who have your natal sun between 0 and 10 degrees Aries, Aries 1, that's what you're called. Aries 2 is those of you with your natal sun between 10 and 20 degrees. And then Aries 3 is those of you born toward the end of Aries season between 20 and 30 degrees. So around then we'll get, and because as an astrologer, basically 10 degrees is the furthest you go out for an aspect. I actually like to keep mine a little bit tighter, between 2 and 5 degrees. So I'll try to be very specific and I'll try to translate into the dates of the month as often as I can, but the dates of the months do change. It's like every Aries season doesn't stop at the 21st of April, right? And every Aries season doesn't begin on the 21st of March. It just depends on where the sun was that year, and so that can toggle a little bit as well. So just power through with me. I'm going to be as specific as possible to let you guys know how you are going to be impacted by the energies that your natal sun is going to run into over this next week. And I gotta tell you, it's a little bit hot. So put your tinfoil wear on because you don't want to get burned. It's quite intense. So Mars is your ruling dignitary, and this is general. So anywhere your ruling dignitary is, you want to be aware of it because it's going to affect all of you one way or the other. Mars is in Gemini. Still, it's been that way for a while, and it'll be that way for a while. We all know that. Right now, it's about 22 degrees at Gemini. And that's all fine, but what's happening with Mars this week? Well, two things are happening. One, it is forming a sextile to Venus, which is basically happening all week long, and it's also forming a trine to Saturn, who just newly dropped into Pisces. So what is Mars doing? Mars is harmonizing with Saturn, and you know what that means? That means it is going to be easy for you to get stuff done. It is going to be easier. There's going to be a flow to work, or you're going to be energized and really be able to be patient when it comes to things maybe taking longer, or planning things out, strategizing things, like that kind of stuff. Very, very supported energy for you guys this week. And then we have sextile to Venus. Anytime Mars is sextile to Venus, there is some hot cha-cha going on, because that is the combination of the divine masculine and feminine coming together. And it's really interesting. The divine masculine and feminine coming together really represents birth, like real creation, right? A potential for physical creation. So does Saturn in Pisces. And Saturn in Pisces is now trine to Mars as well. So this could also be very creative energy that is being generated in you. A lot of like sexual energy can be transferred into creative energy, can be focused into manifestation. And so there's a lot of wonderful things already set up for you just generally this week, Aries. Now let's get into more specifics, okay? Within Aries, within the entire sign of Aries, there are 3 planets or 3 planetoids. We have Venus, which is at 21 degrees Aries. We have Jupiter, which is about 13 degrees Aries. And we have Chiron, which is 14 degrees Aries. By the end of this week, Jupiter will be at 14 degrees Aries in perfect conjunction with Chiron. But they have been conjunct for a while and will be conjunct for a while. But this is actually when Jupiter kind of overtakes Chiron and starts to go a little bit further and deeper into Aries than Chiron. So it's like sort of the turnaround and the change of events that'll start to happen by the end of this week. Who is that going to impact the most? Aries 2. So if you have your natal sun somewhere between Aries, between 10 and 20 degrees Aries, this is like plop in the middle of your decant, and it is conjunct your natal sun. So this turnaround of sorts of the struggles and pain and the suffering, like what have you learned from it? Finally now there's a sense of, oh my God, I can start to process this and I can start to apply it and it can actually start to work out for me. You'll start to feel that turnaround happening. Now, kind of feels like that. Oh my God, I suffered through math. I really did. It kind of feels, so I'm going to say math, but you take your least favorite subject. It kind of feels like that moment, the first moment ever that you actually understand something. Like you have struggled, like nails on a chalkboard the whole time, but you have not given up, right? When it comes to Chiron, you can't give up. You have to like look at it objectively and say, what can I learn from this? And especially with Jupiter there, because what Jupiter there does, what it does is it could make it harder as it's happening, right? Because it expands everything, but it also could, on the other side of it, make it so much more spectacular. You are very much being set up for a great amount of prosperity through the suffering, the pain, and the challenges that you're going through now. It's literally your training ground. It's like your boot camp, hell week, Sears School, Navy SEAL training, kind of a couple of weeks to absolutely make you an absolute beast that can get anything done and that will actually be admired afterward. But it's not gonna be easy. And that is conjunct your natal sun. So this is really powerful energy that could honestly change who you are, right? And the BS you accept from yourself, right? Because after this, I think you will challenge the concept of hardship. You will definitely challenge the concept of, I thought that was difficult, but this right here, okay, no. Now, it's very humbling energy. And with that humility, there is a new understanding of prosperity, an understanding of growth, an understanding of what abundance is. So that is huge energy for you guys. And then we have, hold on. Oh, I already said that to you. Okay, by Friday, I wrote this down. I gotta tell you this. By Friday, Jupiter is going to be in perfect conjunction with Chiron. So I wanted to give you that specific date, but it's also going to form a semi-square to Saturn. Oh my God. So Aries too. I'm going to say this. It's not the easiest week. You know, I mean, it's like you already got that conjunction with Chiron sitting on top of your natal sun, and then you have the semi-square to Saturn, which is sort of like Big Papa Chiron. I mean, it's kind of like, can the dragon's breath be any closer to burning you? But honestly, you're going to slay the dragon. Just learn those lessons. I have complete and total faith in you. Since this is Saturn in Pisces, it could very well be just difficulty that you're struggling knowing what to do. You're struggling knowing what action to take. Maybe you're struggling with an authority figure. You're still waiting for paperwork or permissions to come back in. You know, you're like, how long is this going to take? It could take a while because Saturn in Pisces is just getting acclimated to a whole new way of communicating that it is not comfortable with. So there's a sense of try not to take it so personally. Probably doesn't have anything to do with you, but there will still be an irritation that will feel that much more irritating because of the challenges that you're already going through. But it's really that. It's not what's coming from the outside that's making things rough. It's really just that, the turmoil that's already going on inside of you, that's making these little niggling, irritation, nagging kind of upsets. What do you mean the paperwork didn't come in yet? Or what do you mean the attachment didn't go through? Like all of those kind of things. Or why do I need this person's permission? I just got this person's permission. Why isn't this person getting back to me if I need their permission? I called them a week ago. It's those things. They're not personal, but they're going to get to you because there's already a shift and a change that is kind of putting you through the ringer. Aries 3. Let's talk to you guys because I really this is kind of big this week, I've got to say. So Venus becomes sextile this week. Venus is in Aries, and Venus is about 22 degrees Aries this week. That's third decan. So Pisces 3, Venus has come to visit. Now, what does Venus coming to visit mean? When Venus is conjunct your natal sun, you're attractive. I mean, you don't even have to do anything to yourself. All of a sudden, there's a glow about you. It's like, what? Oh, it's kind of like that. It's all of a sudden, it's like people who are attracted to you. So this is actually very powerful energy if you want to present yourself in any way, for any reason, even if you want to present yourself to a work crowd. Beauty sells. And if you're more attractive right now, listen, it's going to go over better. Use it to your advantage. This is a great time for you to beautify yourself, to go do day of beauty, do your hair and stuff, like all that kind of stuff. This is really great energy to do, just because Venus is conjunct the sun. She can be, when she visits the sun, there can be, you're so optimistic about things that you sort of lose track and you lose touch with gravity. It'll feel real good, but when it comes down, you'll be like, it's like Cinderella after the ball. It's like, I look a mess and I lost a shoe. That kind of energy, so just be very, very aware of that. Though she will be with you guys for a while, and it's beautiful, and I think you should just enjoy it. This week, she is sextile to Mars and sextile to Saturn. What? So this is what I'm talking about, the difference between the decans, because Aries 2, you guys are semi-square, which is just irritation with Saturn. Decant 3, Aries 3, you guys are sextile to Saturn. Sextile to Saturn is one of the best things you could ever be, because when you got Saturn working for you and giving you opportunity, those doors are open. So this is a fantastic time, if you're born at the end of Aries season, for you to go in for that raise, for you to go in for that new job, for you to present in front of the person that you want $1 million investment from, because you're going to be attractive and you're going to be taken seriously. What? Yes. This is huge energy that could really be work out really wonderfully for you. Now, apart, that's combined. Separate, there could be a lot of beautiful things happening in your romantic life right now, because sextiles bring opportunities. So now you have opportunities, especially, and I wrote this down, with Venus in Aries and Mars in Gemini. You're doing a lot of sexy talk. There's a lot of sexy talk. There could be a lot of sexting. There could be a lot of flirting. There could be, because Mars is in Gemini. Mars in Gemini takes action through words and through communication, right? There's a lot of way you could body talk it. Yeah, but that's more what Venus is doing, because she's in Aries. So Venus is in Aries impacting your natal sun. So you're going to be very attractive, to the point where a lot of people are going to be very flirty with you, flirtatious, coming after you, engaging you in that sexting. It's sexting or flirtatious talking or compliments, getting a lot of compliments. This is good stuff. I actually like the sextile to Saturn a lot better, because I'm all about productivity. And this is the thing. You will take yourself seriously enough to not let that sextile to Mars go out of control. That sextile with Saturn will help you keep grounded and have a sense of authority and importance about who you are, so you're not going to be sending those pics, right? You're going to be like, I'm glad that you're attractive to me, but remember how to treat me. And they will. Oh, they'll respond to it. Oh, I'll be very, oh yeah. Absolutely. Now, there is something for Aries 3s, but it's been going on for a while. At the end of Capricorn, at the very tail end of Capricorn, there's a little known planet called Pluto. And Pluto is sitting there at 29 degrees Capricorn, which means those of you born at the very end of Aries season. And I'm talking about like on the cusp of Taurus. It's you guys that are square to Pluto right now. And that's challenging. I mean, that's challenging. There is a sense of authority to it, but there's also a sense of being challenged. It could also be challenged because everything is so tense and sexual right now. Could also be challenged by some shady stuff, some deep stuff, some stuff that you would have preferred to keep hidden, or maybe you never tried that kind of kink before. So just be aware of that is your challenge, and I think it's there to help you face it, look at it, see it, and think, okay, just because it's a part of me doesn't mean I have to put it on blast. Right? Or you don't have to use every part of yourself. You have to accept every part of yourself. You don't have to use every part of yourself, because honestly, some parts of yourself are just trash. And a lot of what could be hidden under Pluto could be that. There could be that complication, things that are hidden, things that have been kept secret. Since it is a square and it's been going on for a while, it is really there. But now that Venus is there, conjuncting your natal sun, it could bring out some of those toxic proclivities and experimentations, or even in some ways, all of a sudden you're challenged by feelings, or feelings that somebody had hid from you, had kept from you, right? All I'm saying is, with a sextile to Saturn and a sextile to Mars and a square to Pluto, don't go sleeping with your boss. That's not ever going to go over well. Just an FYI. That's all I could do is make suggestions. And that's pretty much it. You let me know if you found out. I asked you guys last week, what is the ruler of your decan? Because every decan has its sub-ruler. So tell me in the comments below. I'd love to know if you did that. It's easy. You could just Google it. But let me know. Let me know how you feel about that. I remember discovering mine. I'm Cancer too. And I remember discovering mine was Pluto, and I'm like, damn. Oh, okay. Kind of started making a lot of sense to me. When you have your ruler is the moon and your sub-ruler is Pluto, I kind of started understood my little craziness and why Scorpios love me so much, because Scorpios generally are ruled by Pluto. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just gonna let you know. I'm just saying. Hello. But it's kind of interesting topic, and I want to know what you think. And please check out your tarot card reading, because it will be up in about 15 minutes from now if you're watching this as soon as it comes out. And that is definitely for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Please remember to subscribe to this channel. Just because you think you're subscribed doesn't mean you actually are. I've done that before a lot. Give this video a thumbs up. Please comment below. Share this video if you really, really love it. And I will see you guys next week.